Yeah.
That you have
It's supposed to be light bulbs here.
She has a thing.
All right, so we're getting ready to do the Midrash on full portion Devarim. This is the portions that we read today, or the part you read, Devarim 1:1 to 3:22, Isaiah 1:1-27, and Matthew 24:1 to 2. So before we do that, Scripture says, "So eat and be satisfied, and you'll bless the Lord God. So with that, you give the food that I believe eaten and are satisfied. Thank you for the life. Finish your thing. Thank you. Amen." So this was verse 1. Eleha Devarim. And this is a translation, and these are the words, or these are the words, for the aliyot that we read. And so, the simple question of mitzvot. According to the Jewish account, how many mitzvot are there in this Torah portion? Is it 2, 3, 7, or 10?
Can you put slide up on my street?
Uh,
It probably is a slide.
Should we slide last year or not?
7.
7? Is that
I'll say 2.
2, 3, 7? Couple of votes, 2? All right.
No, I think it's
Well,
7.
You're all right so far because 10 is out. Good one. 5, 7 is correct.
So I'd like to accept that appreciation, but I really did it.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah, yes,
There was no skill involved or remember, so.
So both of the mitzvot come from the same verse, which is Devarim 1:17, and two parts of that same verse were drawn from. Which is, do not show deference to individuals in judgment, which was equally to small and to great. You shall be attentive. Do not tremble before any man for judgment. For the judgment, it is to God, no matter of it. So, the one thing not so partiality to either a rich or poor, it's literally to small and to great, Katan and Gadol, which could be more than just rich or poor. It could be someone who is, someone who has power. That Gadol would be someone with power. And Katan is someone who is without power. And the second part of that, the judge must not fear a wicked man's judgment. Wicked man is not directly in the text, but it perhaps is implied by the phrase, you shall be attentive, do not tremble before any man. So it would be if you're fearing someone who would be trembling before him, and so you would, in other words, you can't let someone who's intimidating you, a judge, can't be intimidated by someone who is, has mocking that teacher right now. To be a non. So here's sort of the expanded version from Targum's Onkelos of 1:1. These are the words which Moshe spoke to all Israel beyond the garden of Jordan, reproving them because they had sinned in the wilderness and had provoked the Lord's anger on the plains of the sea of Suf in Paran, when they had torn the manna, when they had torn, and in Hazrot, when they provoked the anger on account of flesh, because they had made the golden calf. is later in the text, you're going to see that these are good expansions. This is not directly in the text, but that the is again the programs or text translation commentary. So the names of places there, just not the the one sentence version of what actually is told there. So that's, I think it's a good analysis, a good expansion. It does cover exactly what happened from those places. So where are we on the biblical calendar? We are, of course, in what is known as the 5th month. Av is the name of it. In the scriptures, it's something called the 5th month. As we learn from what is, if not from already knowing, but from the challenge, the Shabbat, it's called Shabbat Chazon, Shabbat vision, based on the beginning words of Isaiah 1:1. And this Haftorah always precedes the 9th of Av. This year, the 9th of Av begins at sunset on Monday evening, on the 5th of September. So this is that first verse we get the phrase. This is the vision. So from this is our core portion, as it kind of does the connection between Israel's transgressions and the bad results in others. And we read typically in a Haftorah, or oftentimes in a Haftorah, particularly from the major prophets, is that Israel is doing some bad things, but always ends on a good note. This is good in our reading of Isaiah. That ended on Israel would be, if they repent, would be judged, would be judged righteously and live in righteousness. That's what the end of it says. But to get there, it had to be, the impurities had to be cleaned out. And cleaned out with lies, not it's just as any the result of any sort of repentance is, it's going to be difficult to complete. It's painful to complete, maybe though they're trying to difficult. It's not going to be pleasant experience. So this is not perhaps a complete history, but there are a number of things that we see from history in terms of the events that occurred on the 9th of Av in history. This is it's a calculation that it was a bad report of the size. It does track with the overall bad news that Israel will spend 38 additional years as a result of believing the bad report of the Recon folks, as well as some people will die as a result of that. But it's also the same date as the first and second temple destruction, which is the main reason for it, for the fast of the fourth, and the Christmas fast of 6 months. In history, Hadrian questioned about Kukla revolt, on the 9th of Av in 135 of the Common Era, essentially to say 133, when they conquered the fourth city of Betar, and which was Bar Kokhba's last stand as a result of being defeated. Over 100,000 Jews were killed as a result of this. It ranks with the bad things that happened with the plague on people when they were fighting, many times of Israel history when they're doing rebellion. So it ranks with that, even more so. In 1095 of the Common Era, Pope Urban II declared the First Crusade. You might think that's not a horrible thing, but as a result of that, lots of Jews were killed en route to the land. very famously, a synagogue in Mainz, Germany, was it was the scene of a horrific massacre when Crusaders governed all the Jews in town, locked them in the synagogue, and then burned it down. There's a bit that occurred during the First Crusade route where they were marching through Europe, getting there. So not altogether a good thing. So that was a listed on the history of the Ninth of Oz. Longshanks, Braveheart's bow. The issue of expulsion Jews in 1290, probably, right? It was he was allowed to return to England in 1655 and were able to be natural citizens by 1753, but the edict of expulsion has never actually been formally extended by the monarchy.
So that's interesting. When you said that there's nothing been received by the monarch.
So they could, another expulsion, they would still be citizens, but not living in the
Well, yeah, it could be that their citizenship could be revoked.
or even your citizen that you can't live.
Exile. Spanish Inquisition, 1492, another expulsion. Of course, that was Christopher Columbus. Yeah, that's why, not why, but it was said that a lot of his crew were, at least a portion of his crew, were Jews who were avoiding being expelled because they were on the crew that was leaving. And they actually, as they were sailing, it was like, I think they left like on the day after the Ninth of August, and supposedly there was a lot of rowboats without rows and sailboats without sails that they went past, that they could usually get expelled from Spain, dying to land as a result of if they could get out in time to get out, so they could unfortunately expel. And let's look at this next one has to be explained a bit. World War I began with Russia declaring war against Germany. Germany was essentially declared war on Serbia, Serbia being an ally.
Archduke Ferdinand and Sophia's wife, they were murdered by the Serbian, but it was, it wasn't Germany, Montenegro, whatever. The Habsburg dynasty, they had Austria and a few other areas there. They're the ones who declared war on Serbia. And they had a treaty with Germany that never went to war. Germany was back up. And somehow the Serbians had a deal with the Russians, and then the Russians took their part of Germany because the Germans something would happen.
Yes. But on 9th of August, Russia declared war against Germany. So
Yes.
had those things not happened, the question if Western Europe got involved and Russia went with France.
Yes. And Britain who had an agreement with France. Or France had the agreement with Britain. They brought all those three powers together against the Germans and the Austro-Hungary.
Right. This is the beginning of the war. The comment below that is that German resentment from the war set the stage for the show-off later in the century. In other words, Germany losing the war eventually brought about the rise of the hatred of Jews because Jews blamed for Germany losing the war, which of course set the stage for the whole country show-off. In a sense, though, I think we'll get to it in a minute, the fast days. The 9th of Av is a biblical fast day, it's not a Torah fast day. But sense where it says that the fast and 4th, 5th, 7th, and 10th months will be turned with joy, sort of is a flickering of that has already happened because of the event of World War I breaking out, causing World War II to happen, and Jews being murdered by the Nazis, eventually brought about the establishment of the country, the state of Israel, modern state of Israel. That blessing not have happened had the war fast not started.
We were more than happy in the countries of the world.
Well, yeah, I don't be happy that we
We had to move out.
Perhaps. Yeah, perhaps. I mean, it depends on other events that could have brought them up, but many Jews escaped through or from Russia, and probably the biggest number of folks who lived in fleeing Russia and moved to Israel once became from the mandate. So, this is a full English God website. It's mourning the destruction of the temple, the exile, and the exile of Israel. We would say the eating and drinking, dating and gathering of letters that were marital relations to the night and day of to come down on 8 and nightfall. It's customary to sit on the floor or a low seat until after the day. Core study is restricted to the laws of mourning, passages describing the destruction of temple and the light. The fulfillment of one only in the afternoon noontime. So, again, that is the tradition, English about how to observe the fast. Again, is the ninth of all biblical already mentioned is, and see that being mentioned by Zechariah, prophet Zechariah. Amos of Oak says, I will save my people from lands east and west. I'll bring them back, and they will live in Jerusalem. They will be my people, and I will God, with faithfulness and justice. Amos of Oak says, take courage, you who are hearing only now. Weep in these days, these words spoken by the prophets, and the foundation will be laid to rebuild the temple, the house of Amos of Oak. Amos of Oak says, the fast days of the 4th, 5th, 7th, and 10th months have become times of joy, gladness, and cheer in the house of Judah. Therefore, love, peace, and truth. And that's what Oak says, in the future peoples and the inhabitants of many cities will come. The inhabitants of the one city will travel to another city, must go ask, I'm going to say that the folk I'm now to the Oak. I'll go also. Verse 22. Yes, many people in population will come to the folk of Oak in Jerusalem and to ask Elnat's favor. Elnat's Oak says, when that time comes, 10 men will take hold, speaking all languages of the nations, will grab hold of the cloak of a Jew and say, we must go with you because we have heard that God is with you. We tell this is a future prophecy because certainly that has not happened. Certainly the remnant of Jerusalem has it makes like here now and not yet sort of thing going on. And verse 23, I look at this and see that it could be used multiple ways, or two multiple ways, but 10 men taking hold of what? The cloak of a Jew? Here is a teaching, but the idea of this world, I think. The edge of it on. Huh?
Is the worship not?
Don't think it is. I don't know if I have it something here. I can take it pretty game. But the idea is that if people were taking a hold of Yeshua's cloak, for example, it could be Yeshua they're talking about, or just other believing Jews that people are coming to get hold of. So it could be either way. In a figurative sense, it says 10 know the big boys keep all the languages of the nation. It seems like more than just 10, right? It would be 10 men for one Jew, and people from all around the world come to control and do what they're coming to Jerusalem and control the God of Israel. Which, again, is not, the future gospel has not yet occurred. So this is still in effect, let's say. So, what the question might be, well, what are those fasts? Well, the fast of the fourth month is when the walls were breached. There are different eras, so to speak, or different days were fasted. In the first temple period, it was on the ninth day of the fourth month. So the Romans breached the walls of Jerusalem on the 17th day of the fourth month. And so that is the one that's typically observed today, the 17th of the fourth month. Ninth day, as we know, is for the temple. The seventh month is not Yom Kippur. This is that's a Torah holiday, not just it's not a holiday, not a command holiday. It's one that is observed.
So the third day in the 7th month.
Third day in the 7th month, yeah.
So that would be after Rosh Hashanah.
That's correct.
And it's not before, because that's the thing.
Well, the Zechariah doesn't say what day of the month it is. It's Christian celebrated on the third day, or fasted on the third day. And that's because, well, Yom Kippur is not a time of mourning. I mean, it could be since there's not evening, but it is so it's definitely not the reference in this in Zechariah chapter 8. And the 10th day of the 10th month. Okay, it's this one. That's when Nebuchadnezzar began the siege of Jerusalem. So that siege went from the 10th month of the previous year took them till the 4th month to breach the wall, and the 5th month to conquer. I don't know the timeline for the Romans, but it was a much faster time frame, although I believe that was true.
So in the 7th month, they get a memory of the World War rebellion. Correct? Yeah.
Yeah, it was set for the 3rd day of the 7th month. Jeremiah 41 is the reference. To your question, though, where it says this says graphic cloak, really would be, as you said, it's corner.
Yeah.
It is the corner of the book. The cloak or garment itself probably not be a great translation, although that's how it belongs to this book. So there's different fasting conditions. We saw one from the Torah version. The 24th of Tishrei, and the 10th of Tevet, the 9th of Tammuz, and the 7th and 10th of Av, considered fast days for prayer conditions. Prayer is considered a period from the 1st of Tammuz until the 10th of Av, a period of mourning and destruction of the temple. We're referring to the meat, the wedding and payment are not prohibited, are not permitted. On Sabbath, on go back. Established from the 9th of Tammuz until the 10th of Av, 4 or 5 special prayers are read in the morning. On the 7th of Av, after service, there are 2 special prayers. The morning reaches its peak on the 10th of Av. On this day, following the service, carried through lamentations and we will talk about the consolations. Thus, the services are ended. So, back to the Torah study. As you might recognize, the title of the book Devarim comes from the first words, the first verse of our portion. The Hebrew word in English says it as Deuteronomy, derived from Greek meaning second Torah. Some of the Torah could be repeated here, might be a reason for it, but kings of Israel are commanded to write the reader of Israel to write a second copy of the Torah from 1780. Deuteronomy, second law, second Torah. But really, it's not a good summary, not really a summary of Torah at all, because there are only a few instances of Shemot or Exodus that appear. There's no mention of Mishkan. There's both from Vayikra, Leviticus, and none of the mitzvot are shown here from the numbers. So, in that sense, it's not really a good summary of the Torah itself. Most of the mitzvot appear in Devarim, appear here for the first time, but it's a time when many of the events here are shown, are discussed 38 to 40 years previous. Only 40 here, is about to finally go into the land. Take a look at, some of the words here in this portion are, recognized from other places, place names might recognize. Yom Suf, there's Suf reference to Yom Suf, pushing away. The Arabah is desert plain. You might recognize Hadate or Arabia, same word. Funny that here as well. Rashi says these are words of rebuke. It's not places where they angered Yah on this one. But Moshe, this word, when we think of that as sin, but this is the place where he heard and not the sin himself. Of course, by the time of the Torah enclaves, they didn't just leave it vague, they filled the blanks, so to speak. Here's how Rashi comments. Part of enclaves is about 1,000 years before Rashi. But it says that in the desert, we complained the Almighty in the desert when we died in Egypt. In the plain, the sin of Baal Peor, Shittim, the plains of Moab. Yom Suf, dwelling at Yom Suf. Haran, the dig for the desert of Haran, through the spies.
What was the rebellion of Yom Suf?
We've got to go, why are you trying to kill us here? We're all about to kill the Egyptians coming.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Here's a Tefillah Lavan. This is when a comment by Rabbi Yochanan said, we have searched in Torah, but we haven't found a place named Tefel or Lavan. However, this means to rebuke them because of foolish things they said about the man and his brother's wife, Lavan. And we discussed of a place where they do mention the first place name by name. And that was not Hatzorot is Torah, but another person says it's Miriam. Gizahav is gold. And that would likely be a reference to the golden calf. So like when we think of Passover and we're saying Daninu, it's enough. Well, Gizahav, D is a part of that same idea of Daninu. And what happened to the golden calf? What were they forced to do? You can see what I say. I've already had enough gold.
I heard one commentator that amount of gold, it would have been all over everywhere, profuse smiling. For that amount of gold.
It's hard to want to regather that as a agreed person.
Yeah, this job stinks, but it's profitable.
Yeah,
Assuming they had grinding stone and gold was pretty soft.
We can say that it seems that the places were maybe mostly the places we were going, or parts of those were wasn't rebellion. You might write those, but Devarim is the most popular in the Torah of the quotations from the Kingdom of Israel. It's third overall after Isaiah and Psalm. The word covenant appears 30 times. And there are we'll get to them. There are quite a few passages that are unfulfilled prophecies that not this portion so much, but maybe you see something as future events. But certainly Leviticus chapter 6 a lot of unfulfilled prophetic events. Ashtarot is what? Who or what is Ashtarot? Dwelt with Ashtarot at Edgewood. No? You may recognize other words as Astarte, Ishtar. Yeah. Feminine counterpart to Baal, worship in groves, which is Asherah, grove. She's a moon goddess, God. It's just like oftentimes it's the sun, the sun god, fertility, crops, astro, and counterpart of the moon, the moon deity, night time. Easter comes from the a couple of passages here about possessing the land. Where are they supposed to go? What is the land? How much is the land? Well, this is the uncanny land, right? This talks about all of what we know as Israel, but all the way out to the Euphrates, right?
As far away as
The land of the Lebanon. Canaanite listed here, but Lebanon is part of that.
Syria.
Well, the Turkey,
I mean, excuse me, that would include all of them, all to portions of Iraq, all the way down
that's the portion of Arabia, so the Ireland.
and Jordan.
Yeah.
All the way over.
Not all places, though. Some places are set aside specifically for Ammonites and Moab.
Yes, it would include those.
So Jordan might not be part of it.
Because it was north, like when it was at Bill on Heights, that wasn't part of it. Or that was,
That's,
no, this
yeah, Galilee was part of it.
there was a river there. If you cross that river, and that was there, but south of that river, it was, that's part of that.
Off the Java River, thinking that was maybe, but, yeah, I just come back with that.
That's what
So, unlike the spies, you are to go and conquer it. Go up, take possession. God, your ancestors told you, don't be afraid, don't be dismayed. So,
I got a question. Because we talked about the Sea. Where did the Sea come from? Because when Noah and his son, they weren't
well, I think in this context, what are these giants?
yeah. Where did they come from?
Well, where are they living?
Where are they living?
Well,
Oh, God, just like that, maybe.
so,
But where did because unless that bloodline was somehow mixed in or no,
well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't, I would say they're not, they are human.
You know, they have to come from you.
So they would have to come from one of the three sides. So probably, if they're related to the Canaanites, they come from Canaan.
yeah, you know what I mean.
So, possess the land. So the question would be, well, first of all, we know what land it belongs to. We can't answer already. Is the land a gift? Is it yours for the taking? Or do you have to take it? Or if you have to take it, is it a gift? It's given Israel to take it, but they have to possess it. They have to actually take possession of it. There was a time for maybe camp in place, and there was a time for breaking it. You see that like we were talking about in this unfortunately. But why did Moshe tell Israel to not fear and not to be discouraged? Exactly right. I told you in advance. That's the reason.
they had Joshua was it.
So, has Israel ever took the land? So here's the question. If Israel never actually took possession of the entire land for Euphrates, and this is Joshua's time, how do you reconcile the verse in chapter 21 of Joshua? Which reads, so Adonai gave Israel all the land which he swore to give to their ancestors, and took possession of it and lived in it. And Adonai gave them rest all around, according to everything he had sworn to their ancestors. By man, from all their enemies that stood against them, Adonai handed all the enemies over to him.
Maybe their time is not coming.
Well, we can look at it, I think, in two ways. The initial promise to Abraham was just Canaan, right? Just Canaan land in Genesis 17. And then back in Shemot 13, as well as two passages here. Adonai brings you into the land of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, and Hittites, Jebusites, which he swore to your fathers to give you, and that's flowing milk and honey, who have deserved the service for the month. And then a few verses later, when Adonai brings you into the land of the Canaanites, and he swore to you and your fathers to give it to you. It may be that the passage in Joshua is referring back to the original promise of so there is, I think that there is evidence that in like Shlomo's reign, King Solomon's reign, Israel did expand all the way, reaching some of those border areas.
The one thing interesting is that after the war, at the island of Beit, they carved out those very borders for Israel. And by the time the end of World War II, that thing was still. And it wasn't them that cut it down. It was the League of Nations or the United Nations.
So kind of, to think about it, what the Arabs, and all that, those chant and the river in the sea is actually what God wants to do. And the river keeps
And the Euphrates River,
The Palestinians are not people.
Yeah.
They're
there are all kinds, there were all kinds of people that lived in Palestine.
by the Romans.
okay. Devarim 1:10 to 11 says, Almighty God has multiplied you, and you are today, like the stars of the heaven, number in number. May Almighty God, your Father, increase you 1,000 times, as many as you are, and may He bless you just as He promised to do. So, firstly, how numerous are the stars of the heavens?
Well, at that point in time, their multitude wasn't being had.
Well, any given night, there depending on what we're talking about, visible, that you can see, there are only about 3,000 stars visible. With a handheld telescope, about 30,000. But by this time, Israel had far surpassed those levels by a lot, right? If we need, on the other hand, the number of them, of the host of them that can't be counted, Israel is 1,000 times an uncountable number. So, infinity times 1,000. Uncountable. So, the total number of stars is estimated to be 10 to the 26th power, and that would be a 1 followed by 25 zeros.
talent, and
You couldn't live long enough to count all the stars. Yeah. So it is a euphemism for a lot. An uncountable number. An interesting turn of phrase in this chapter talks about as a man bears his son. And that, I think, shows that the children of Israel are really children of Israel, instead of the sons of Israel are compared to what God is having. He's having his sons, carrying his sons. A loving relationship, just like he says, in different contexts. Jeremiah 31, though I was the husband to them, to Israel, Mount of Egypt, it's sort of an idea of Yah always carrying his children.
And also as a father, discipline.
Yeah, a father who loves his children. So the response by Israel typically is, you do not carry me here, and you are not strong enough to carry me to that land. In other words, everything said is true, but you're not powerful to do it, or something like that. Yeah, so I think that's the way humans react to as I said earlier, there's a time when to stay in camp, a time when to go up. There's a time for doing something, and there's a time for not doing something. When you figure out it's time to do something, it might be not the right time to do it anymore. And that's what Israel found out in the previous passage. So Israel was not to provoke the sons of Esau, and not to harass the sons of Lot.
Israel was the only one not bigger.
That's right. That's pretty much the bottom line of this, is that everything doesn't belong to Israel. Sons of Esau and sons of Lot are not Israel, but land is given to them. God made provision for non-Israel. That's perfect. We're going to close. What questions do you have? Joshua, son of Nun. Thank you for allowing us to Midrash freely on your word. I thank you for the blessing of being in a place where that freedom is allowed. I thank you for Yeshua HaMashiach, your son. Thank you for the blessing for Jesus. Thank you, Yeshua. Amen.